What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Cheap Ass Tattoo Collector here, and today we've got another collector's chat, and we have a special guest with us. But first, let me go ahead and introduce the panel. Of course, we've got Fate, David,
Yo.
Yo.
John, and our special guest today is Eric Sosa.
Penny. No, I'm just kidding. Eric, yeah.
So before we get started, everyone in the comments, please leave some questions in the comments. Remember to not be hateful. That's not accepted on this channel. Anything that's hateful, we're not going to read, and I'll probably just ban you. So we want to keep everything positive. And I've got a lot of great questions for you. I want to go ahead and let everyone else ask what they want to ask too as well. I think everyone on the panel is excited to have you on the collector's chat.
Definitely.
So with that said,
where's Chris? Where's Crespo? Where's my man?
I don't know where Chris is. He is a big Eric Sosa fan though. So he's working tonight actually. He said that he wanted to make it but he couldn't because he's working late tonight.
I always make fun of Chris because I tell him every one of his statues needs to be signed by Sosa.
What did I do in sculpt? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that
guy. Oh.
So, let me actually pull up the chat real quick. So a few questions that I had though were, I guess I know you did an interview a while back with Madx Collector, and he did like a 45-minute interview talking about a bunch of stuff. So I wanted to come up with different things, and I, what I was really interested in really is like, what was your first paying job in the industry? Like where you were like making money and you're like, well, I could actually make a living off of doing something, making art.
That's a good question. Actually, in the industry, yeah, because I used to like just make my own stuff since I was like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years old, and I'd sell it to like my cousins or little kids, whatever, like at school. But yeah, I started when I was like 17 at Mattel Toys, and my high school teacher got me in there, and I actually was getting paid just to basically for the first month or so. It was just it was over the summer. They just gave me like all these. Image was barely like coming to coming out and becoming like like a established company.
Yeah,
94, I believe, 94, and they had all these comics like Youngblood and Cyber Force. So when I got introduced to like the main guys at Mattel and everything, they said, okay, that's going to be your office, that little cubicle. It was a really nice cubicle. And they said, we're just basically going to, we're going to give you some clay and some comics, a stack of comics, and you can do whatever you want every day. So that's basically what I did for like a whole month. And I was getting paid back then. It was like, I think I started at $8 an hour or something like that, which back then was like a lot. And to me, actually, anyway. So, and then they actually pumped me to, I think, $10 an hour or 12, which was really good back in '93. That was really good for a kid. And that's it. That was like my first gig was basically just doing whatever Cyber Force characters or whatever image characters I want to do, like Spawn. And I remember I sculpted all these things, like Star Wars stuff, and I honestly was not really doing a lot of Marvel stuff. I wasn't really into the Marvel stuff for some reason. I was more into like, I mean, I did like the main characters, but I was more into like Superman and Batman, Justice League, all that stuff. So I did get to do all that stuff.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Mr. Sosa. What was that? You said you was more into what?
I was more into like DC Comics stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was more into like
good job.
Batman and Batman, that stuff. But I never really collected, like,
He said it, not me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
I can tell you like that, man. That's cool. So that's it. So basically, the first month, it was just me doing whatever, and I was just getting paid to do, like, just to have fun. And after that, they started training me on how to do portraits and stuff like that, and, like, mainly Barbies. Like, you look at a Barbie head, and you go, like, oh, this is so easy to do, because it looks kind of like this. It looks like really simple. This is like an anime head that I bought in Japan. But trust me, man, this is really tough. Like anyone can make this. It's a lot easier, believe it or not. But doing subtle stuff, or sculpting babies, that's tough, man. That's tough. So
yeah.
But they trained me to do that, and then like after like almost like the summer was over, that's when they basically had a meeting with me again, and they offered me a 5-year contract, and they offered to pay for my for college, for like any art school that I wanted to, and if they approved it, it was good enough according to them, I could go there. And then they gave me like a list. I remember that list. It was pretty cool. They gave me a list of all these like different types of cars, different models, different makes. And they said, you can choose a car, and you know it's yours. You know, but you have to sign. And I was like, yeah, man,
that's awesome, man.
But I didn't do that. I decided to do this community service thing for 2 years. They didn't like that, and they let me go, but they gave me a really nice letter, and that opened up doors 2 years later when I came back from serving my 2 years.
Okay.
And I went back to them, and they said, "You're too old now, man. We told you." But they were cool, though. They were cool. I mean, to this day, I still work for them. So I've been working with them since 93, 94.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still do freelance for them, like a lot. Oh, what happened?
No, I'm sorry. That's
Your
me.
camera. Okay. So you guys, like a lot of people know me for doing like you know this stuff, right? Like like collectible stuff and everything. But to be honest, like actually I do more percentage wise. I do like maybe of my income comes from toys, so that's what I do.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
My gamer tag on Xbox Live is toy sculpting stuff, because that's what I do. I mainly do toys, but a lot of people know me for doing collectibles, and I do a bunch, or used to do like a bunch on a yearly basis. But most of the stuff that I did was always like Barbies and stuff, purses.
So is that where the money? Is that where the money is?
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, it's incredible. It's so different.
You said toy sculpts with an S at the end?
Yeah, well, my gamer tag, you mean?
Yes, sir.
It's actually Toy Sculptor, but it's not pronounced. Well, it's pronounced. I pronounce it Sculptor, but it's really ZKULPTOR. So basically, you stuck the S and the C for a Z and a K. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, and I'm gonna watch this back.
Yeah.
USA Jack Bauer. There's only one USA Jack Bauer. I'm gonna send you a little request. Are you ever on? Because I don't want to send it out there, and I'm gonna play you every 20 years, man. So are you? Do you game a lot?
He put it right there.
I'll put it in group chat. There you go.
But yeah, do you guys play like Gears of War or something for?
Oh yeah, I used to play Gears of War. I used to play a lot. The first one when it first came out.
Me too, man. I love that thing. I got hooked. Gears of War 4, it's like amazing. I just don't get to play more than like maybe once a month, or sometimes like once every 3 months, to be honest. But I'm trying to get better at it. So
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a message, man, whenever you can get on. I'm sorry, pardon the interruption, Mr. Cass. I know you conducting the interview, Mr. Sosa, but for the gamers out there, I got to make sure that I'm on it for the gamers. Okay. All right.
Trying is like the new one, Red Dead Redemption.
That game's awesome, man. I've only done like 4 hours of it, but I haven't had time either. But it's amazing.
You're a nice guy, man. You're trying to be nice and say howdy, y'all, and they kill you. Like, get out of here. Do you remember what you did? And I'm like, okay, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Bounty on my head, and I just don't even know how to get rid of that. I think I have to pay for it or something, or sell my horse, or I have no idea. So
that's nice.
I just haven't had the chance to play it enough. So
you have a family, right?
Huh?
You have a family, right?
Yeah, my wife and 4 kids.
Nice. 4 kids. Wow. Awesome.
Great job.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
There's more than enough.
Yeah, definitely. I'm playing Dad of War with my son, and he likes it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I used to play Gears of War with my she was like, back then she was like 9-year-old daughter. But I kind of, I played Gears of War without the graphic content, so I removed the blood and the lore or whatever, the explicit language or whatever. Because I have kids, they come in and they're like, "What are you doing?" So I do that. But sadly, not most new games don't have that option for like people that are,
Right. So you said you do toys too. You sculpt toys.
Yeah.
What do you prefer, sculpting toys or statues?
To be honest, like sculpting statues, for many reasons, it's a lot more rewarding. But in terms of like financially speaking,
Yeah.
Toys are way better. So like to give you an idea,
I can see that.
for a quarter scale statue is, although I know a lot of people don't like it that I talk about these things, but I will anyway. The average should be like around like, you know, depending on what you're doing, if the base is not huge and the character doesn't have like a huge cape, like say Spawn, but let's say you're doing a Spider-Man or a Wolverine, you know, with a alternate head or something, the average should be like for a company, like say working for a company like Sideshow or something. I think in average they pay like 10K or something like that. That's what they pay. But if you're working for different companies, there's companies that actually pay you $1,000 per inch. It doesn't matter if it's digital, and most of the stuff we do now is digital, so it doesn't really matter that it's not an actual physical representation of the art, whatever. It's just like it's a digital file, and they pay by the inch. So if they're gonna end up producing it, say a Batman for DC Collectibles at say 6 scale and it's 12 inches tall, that's gonna pay you ideally 12K. So it's pretty good. The only issue is that stuff gets like, if it's something for like say for like a film or something, you have to go over a lot of you have to go through a lot of revisions with the film director or his assistant, and that can take up to like sometimes like a year. So yeah, so that's why we're always working on stuff like at least like, you know, 8 months to like a year ahead of the movie coming out or whatever, the show or whatever. So that's pretty cool, man. It's really cool. I can't deny that, but I can do these things one afternoon. It takes me 2 hours, 3 hours, and if I do like a whole set of these, like say 6, it pays maybe twice as much as if I were doing like a quarter scale statue. So it to me more rewarding in that sense that I can take care of my family, but just by doing like really cute stuff, whatever. And then the other thing that's actually really cool about it is that I get to do a lot of like Barbie stuff and a lot of like, you know, like cute, you know, like Polly Pocket stuff, you know, kind of stuff. And my kids get to play with that stuff. So I don't know if you're familiar with the, I forget what they're called. They're done by Mattel, and I don't know if any of you guys have kids. There's these like animated looking DC females that Mattel put out. They're kind of cartoony a little bit.
Okay, maybe. I think I might have seen something like that.
Yeah. So you can still find them. They're pretty popular right now. I don't have any right here, but I can probably show you. You know, let me see if I can show you. Yeah. Actually, I should do that. Let me just show you.
While you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and just ask you a question too from the comment section. Terrell Reed in the comments says, "Do you have a personal collection of your favorite characters that you sculpted statues of that no one has ever seen?" Okay.
Okay, what was that question again?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I gotta put it together. Do you have a personal collection of your favorite characters that you sculpted that no one has ever seen?
Well, I kind of do. I think I just showed them to you guys. They're called Kaijubis, and I came up with these one night. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah.
If you can. I don't know if this is gonna.
Oh, I see.
Let's see. There you go. Let's see. Maybe that'll work. So this is baby Cthulhu, and then I have this thing that looks like a creature from the Black Lagoon. It's basically a
Swamp Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
And there's Gojira. It's called Goji. And it's like Godzilla, but a tiny little. I'm thinking of producing these. Actually, I went to this convention called DesignerCon last year, and there's this company called Kid Robot. They saw them, they liked them. They said, "Hey, we want to produce those." But I ended up deciding to do everything myself. So yeah, this is like a collection of like just known creatures that I kind of like tweaked and everything, but not a lot of people have seen them. So
yeah,
like
that's awesome.
Right? And I just made a few copies. Like I think we made like 300 units, and we basically sold out, you know, within like, you know, 3 days at the show. People really liked them, and we had one that was completely decorated. It looked really cool because these guys have like completely painted eyes, but their eyes are like completely black, and they just look cute, like big old eyes. And I guess someone thought that was for sale, and they just took it. So we were just showing it just to display what you could actually do with some paint and obviously the product and people liked it. This I don't know who made this, but this is the kind of stuff that I like to do as well. But this was not done by me though.
Oh, nice.
Actually, his friend actually did this, and it's just awesome. So and then I've done stuff like this as well, which I usually don't show.
Oh, that's really cool. Tiger blood.
Tiger blood.
Yeah, so I do a lot of that stuff, man. I've done a lot of that stuff throughout the years, and but yeah, basically, let me see. Let me just show you really quick the stuff that I'm talking about. See if I can. I think I can show it already because it's right here. Hold on. Where's this? Where's the page? Oh yeah. Hold on. You'll probably recognize these. Hold on. Okay, let me show you. This I can show. It's safe to show because it's already been. So let me share my screen. All right. Let's see. Let's just. Okay, can you guys see that?
What are we looking at here? Sorry, because I jumped in kind of late.
No worries, man. It's fine. Let's see.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. It looks like
Okay.
Is that Coco?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did this as they were developing the film like a while ago. So you can tell that there's changes with the proportions. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do a lot of that stuff. So I'll just initialize this. And I'm going to show you the cute stuff that you guys don't want to see. Hey, but it's DC stuff, so whatever.
Nice.
Let's see. Mattel. Where's Mattel? Here it is. Jurassic Park. Yeah, we've done Jurassic Park as well.
Is it easier to sculpt animals or non-living? Like, is it easier to sculpt things that aren't humans, I guess? Is it?
Actually, yes. Actually, anything that's not human is a lot easier to sculpt.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like drawing. It's like drawing.
So look, these are the dolls that we did. You probably find them at Walmart or.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you've probably seen these, and a lot of people have no idea that I did these because basically, we don't get credited for this stuff. So this was done. I think this was actually sculpted by Ryan Serrano or Ruby Moran. Like they did an amazing job. And what I do usually with a lot of the toy projects, I just art direct everything.
Oh,
but
nice.
This is fully articulated. You can actually 3D print this, and you can like post it and whatever. It works. So
Really cool.
yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that we do. And let me see if I can show you one more thing really quickly.
So when you say art direct, what exactly is that like in your day-to-day life? You just like yell at people like this looks like crap.
No, actually, I try to remain really positive even when the character looks really off model.
Yeah.
Give them like, because most of the people that I work with, I've actually kind of tried them out in a sense, and I see their work and their portfolio. And once I see like they can do stuff, then I'll tell them like, yeah, you know what, man, you can do this. Let's do this. And let me see if I can show you this revision. So basically, I see people's strengths, and I basically play with that. So if a guy's really good at kind of things, I usually feed him that stuff. But if he wants to do like, say, superhero stuff or portrait stuff, it's up to him to actually prove himself to the client, not to me, because I'm not technically the one bringing the project. It's actually the client. So so long as the client is happy, I'm happy. That's it, And so my job is to actually work as a bridge between the artist. When I'm not doing the project myself, and themselves, like basically. Yeah. Okay, this is what Disney wants, or this is what Warner wants, or this is what Universal. In this case, this was Universal and Mattel. So the textures need to be heavier, or the snout doesn't look right. Follow the reference or whatever, and they'll do it. And then Basically, in the end, like when we actually go through the final revisions, I actually tweak and resculpt things myself personally, just to make sure that the client is happy. So I usually will do a Hangouts with the client or a Skype session, and until they're happy, that's it. Then they approve the project, and that's it. I just send the files and invoice, and then like probably get paid like 60 to 180 days later.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. A lot of people think like, oh man, these guys are like, just making money left and right. It's true. You can, but you have to have like a cushion, saved, so you can pay people. Because I'm not gonna pay my guys like 6 months later when I get paid.
Right.
Like immediately once the product or the project is approved. So that's what I do. But realistically speaking, I don't get paid for sometimes like up to like 6 months.
Oh geez. So what is this then? Is this a toy or a statue? What we're looking at, or is this not? We can't talk about this yet.
No, it's fine. This is actually a model that was used. The toys are already out. They're for the Jurassic Park movie that came out, Lost World 2, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this was something that I did just as a base model for Dragon Ball, and since most characters are like basically virtually the same, very few elements change. I basically have this as a basic model for Goku, but it could be easily turned into say Vegeta or something. But the base model has been approved, so I can actually just use that, change the expression, the pose, the hair, clothing, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Sosa. So basically, now correct me if I'm wrong. So you're like a free agent. So any license can come to you and say, "Hey, we know your work. We know what you can do. We would like to, contract you out for this project." So, so you're a free agent. So it doesn't matter Marvel, DC, whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm completely free.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
In the days of old, like a while back, like you would have like the exclusivity contracts. Like at some point, I had an exclusivity contract with Sideshow for like a year. This was back 2007 or 2008, something like that. And then the economy went south, and that's when I just stopped working with them. But the truth is that as a freelancer, you can work with anybody. I've quit working for the collectibles industry, so I'm not doing stuff for anybody. I'm just wrapping up a few commissions, but mainly I still do toys. So let me just show you stuff that I've done. I don't know, is my camera on, or are you guys looking at?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we can see your screen. If you want me to look away from your screen and show someone else, I can.
Show the camera.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay, hold on.
Awesome. All right, guys. I know you guys asked a lot of questions in the chat. We're gonna try to make this organic and try to go through this process with Eric. Oh, he's got some stuff, and then we're gonna try to get your questions as soon as possible, guys.
So this the stuff that we do. A lot of people have no idea we do it because I don't get credited.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we've done stuff like this. We do a lot of stuff for like a company out of Texas that does a lot of promotional items. And yeah, so have you seen these at GameStop? Yeah, we made these.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or it's just it's all like put away. So yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. So do you ever like for Gears of War, like have you made a gun yet for yourself?
Actually, for Gears of War, I did the first collectibles that came out. Like this one was like huge. This would have been like maybe, I'm thinking like maybe half scale something, because the head was like pretty big.
Yeah.
Did this, and it was on Toy Fair. It was featured on Toy Fair. And then we did the Lancer gun, which was actually like, life size.
Yeah.
And I had a copy, but I sold it to this Marvel artist, Salvador La Roca, and he's like,
I know who that is.
super good. It's awesome. So he's like, "Hey, I'll take that off your hands." And I'm like, "No, man, this is the only copy I got." And I didn't want to let go of it, but I did because I had had an accident, and I basically, because of deadlines, I had been working like, when I used to work by hand. This was back in maybe 2014 or something like that, and I messed up my neck, all my nerve endings and tendons and everything. So I got to Comic-Con. I delivered like all these things for Coda, and then the next morning I'm at the hotel. I couldn't get up, man. I couldn't move my neck. And I was like that. Like my neck was frozen for like 6 months. So my doctor said, you can't work 18-hour days anymore. You have to stop. So I did. And then he said, you need to get a really good ergonomic chair. So I got this one, the Embody by Herman Miller, which cost like $1,300 or something, like super expensive. I mean, I used to buy just like the $60 ones over at Office Depot, So yeah, sure enough, after doing what the doctor said, I started getting better, and that's it. But so what I did was that I sold the Lancer to Sal, and with the money he paid, I actually bought this thing. So that's it. I traded my Lancer for this chair, and I think it was a good trade. So
nice. There's some guys in the comments. They really want to know about your favorite female sculpts, and if you have any to show.
I don't, I haven't. Well, actually, this one's one of my favorite, but a lot of people have no idea about it. Let me just show you really quickly. People don't know. They only made like 200 units or something like that. I don't know how many. This is like a personal project. I actually, it's my own character and everything, but I did this for a Japanese company called Yamato. So this is it. So got like the biomechanical arm and everything. But yeah, it's this is one of my favorites that I made.
What scale is that? Is that 1/6? 6
scale, yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, so but then yeah, I would say that one. I mean, I've done other stuff like the Scarlet Witch, X-23 up there, if you guys can see. Then there's that other female that I like, Chucky's Bride or whatever. What's your name? You see her? Right.
Mm-hmm.
There, yeah, there you go. So, Tiffany, that's her name. But yeah, I've done a few of them. I did that Cinderella right there. So you can see her. It's a mess back there. But yeah.
So I saw those Wolverine statues. Is he easy for you to sculpt? Because I feel like you do a lot of his sculpts, and I think they come out really well.
Thanks, man. I actually, that's the thing with Wolverine. I just do Wolverines. That's what some people are saying. The truth is that I only do what people ask me to do. So if people want to see Batman, I'll probably be sculpting more Batmans.
Yeah.
For some reason, Wolverine is like that people always want me to do. So that's what I do. And I like the character. I love the character, but I also like Batman, but I don't get to do those that much. So.
Yeah.
Or I like, can you do a Magneto? But yeah. So I just give people what they want, man. But truth is that right now I'm just wrapping up some commissions for a friend, and I think that's it. I'm done. So.
Nice. Someone's
geez, like for 3 years, man.
So when you say you're done with the water scale statues?
Yeah. No, actually, to be honest, I would love to do more, but sadly, as you guys know, I don't know what you guys think of the state of the industry as it is right now. I think it's pretty cool to be a collector nowadays, in a sense, from a perspective, because you get access to all these companies doing like different characters and their own take on it, whatever. The only thing is that for the industry itself, it's actually getting so overpopulated with licenses, or the same license, or the same. Basically, the pizza's getting sliced in thinner pieces, and that's affecting sales like across the board. Like I can tell you that it's the next 5 years are going to be pretty tough for this industry, I believe, and hopefully things get better. But I know for a fact that sometimes what you see when you go like, oh, sold out, it's kind of like it's become a gimmick, you know. So in that sense, I don't know if I will be doing more quarter scale stuff. I mean, except for my own license stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to do stuff. The only thing is that most of the stuff that you guys see that I've done personally, it's stuff that it gets art directed a lot, you know. And I've gotten to a point, to be honest, where I got to a point a while back where I was just completely burnt out. And I just wanted to do things my way, but I've never been able to really express myself the way I want to. Even with my Street Fighter stuff, I can't, man. It's like there's parameters, and if Japan tells me like, no, Ken shouldn't be standing this way. He needs to be. And let's say if I want to do something really crazy, they'll go like, no, make it more like this. So I have to adhere to someone else's parameters. And as an artist, that's cool. But after doing it for 25 years, man, it's like, man, I just want to do things my own way. Please let me do things my own way. So. That's why that creature back there, I don't know if you guys can see it, that turtle that I'm doing.
He's a little washed out.
Yeah,
you can't see him that well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closer.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a huge kaiju. I'm doing that, and it's fun because I'm able to do it the way I want to, and my own interpretation of the character, which is really cool.
So you get to present your case as to say, you know, they have their way, and you may have a better idea. Can you at least present your idea?
Well, I don't want to say that I'm presenting a better idea, but maybe
just your idea.
A different thing, you know? But
because they might like it better. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it could be better. Yeah, I've seen, to be honest, personally, I've seen the work of other friends of mine, peers of mine that do amazing stuff, and they have concepts that are like mind-boggling, like really cool, and they will never see the light of day because the company will say, no, that's not going to work out. For example, I don't know if you guys are aware of how Todd McFarlane like pitched his stuff to Mattel. I was there at the time when he was actually pitching his stuff, and like I told you, like and one day we had a meeting and they were talking about Todd. Actually, they're saying like, oh yeah, Eric, do you know about this guy? You like Image Comics, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, well, one of the guys from Image, one of the owners came over for a meeting, and he wanted us to do like some character with a big old cape. And I was like, oh man. I was like, was it a red cape? He's like, yeah. So you know the yeah, that's Spawn. And I'm like, so we're doing Spawn, and they're like, no, this guy's crazy, man. He's like, he wants to like add all this detail to his action figures, and he showed us a prototype, and it looked amazing, but that's never gonna happen in China. It's not feasible. It's gonna cost a lot of money. And I was like, but it is doable, right? And they said, engineering wise, maybe, but it would be super costly. And lo and behold, the guy does it on his own. He got tired of pitching it to all these companies. They all said, no, this is not gonna work, not possible. And dude, look at the guy. I mean, he did it. He made it happen. And I think McFarlane Toys was basically a leader in that sense that actually led us to getting stuff like this, you know, from Hot Toys, this type of quality. And that's because like people like McFarlane started pushing, you know, the envelope. And I think had he not done that, companies would still be doing like the same kind of quality from like back in the
20 years behind. Yeah, I agree with you actually. Yeah.
If you look I go to Japan, you know, like once a year, twice a year. Actually, I was supposed to be there now in December from the 20th 24th, but it's too close to the holidays, and so I told him I couldn't make it. And so you go to these shows in Japan, and you see these things that are mind blowing that are just done by artists that are doing like original work, and you see that stuff, and you go, wow, if this were applied to what we do in the industry, like people would lose their minds. But sadly, it just doesn't happen. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of like quality and just overall design. But you know, I think the Japanese are like a good 20 years ahead of us. I can assure you that.
Yeah, the Figmas. I used to buy Figma action figures, and you can't find anything like that at Toys R Us or Walmart or anything like that. It's crazy.
And it's like, you know, these things are like so cool. You know, you pull something. I use these just for reference, just like, you know, to come up with ideas for poses and everything, and they're just super awesome. As a matter, You know, I'm actually working on, because I'm tired of all this, like how limiting design wise a lot of the action figures are. I'm actually working on my own line of action figures, and I'm gonna do a Kickstarter, but it takes time. You know, you can't just like say like, oh, you know, I've been doing this for like 20 years, and now I want you to buy my action figures. It doesn't work that way. You have to like actually amass a really strong following and get like a huge line of emails and everything from people, like go to shows and everything. And so that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be showing like, you know, prototypes and everything at shows, and then if there's enough of a following, then, you know, people really want to like, you know, basically subscribe to the I don't know, whatever the newsletter, then yeah, then we'll launch a Kickstarter and see how that goes. But yeah, I think you could do like amazing stuff, and for some reason it's not being done. But at least in terms of like what Japan is doing with their toys, man, look at this thing. It's like, it's super posable, and it's really cool looking. You know, it might as well be like, you know, 6 scale or whatever. You know, it's just whatever scale. It's just really well done. And I'm thinking like, why can't we do this with our own stuff? I don't know. Maybe because like in a sense we think more like, oh, you know, profit margins versus quality. So let's just give them less quality so we can have a better profit margin, because otherwise we're gonna spend an extra 50 cents. And I promise you, like I work with companies, and some of them think like, you know, saving like, you know, themselves like 20 cents is actually a better choice. And I think if you spend those extra 20 cents and it makes the piece a lot better, or it creates like a feature like LED eyes or whatever, then yeah, people will appreciate that. But I don't know. In terms of statues, is different though. I think companies like Prime One are doing really cool stuff. So I still think that there'll be room for improvement. You know, if you think like if let's say Prime One mixed or basically fused with Hot Toys, can you guys imagine how cool things could look? I don't know. I mean, in terms of like the skin decoration, stuff like that, they could probably improve that a little bit more. So,
yeah, what's on your pre-order list?
Oh, for Prime One,
or for anything statue wise?
Statue wise, I'm not a collector. I don't collect statues, just so you know. So if I do have statues, it's just because I get copies or samples. But
nice.
I just don't collect. I do buy stuff from other sculptors, just like study how they do things.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of that stuff.
So what pieces do you see out there then that are I don't know, top tier, that you think are top tier that I guess hasn't come out yet?
Romel Chopra's Lobo from Prime One. I think that thing is like insane. I think that thing is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that guy's pushing the envelope. It's incredible because just 4 years ago, Romel was doing like, you know, private commissions, you know, and they weren't really taking care of him. And now he's one of the top guys now. Like he's actually shown us like, you know, how cool the future can be in terms of statues. And honestly, that piece is just really good. A lot of people say, oh yeah, but you know, these companies doing like third scale stuff, like they use a lot of textures and stuff. It is true. They rely a lot on what we call alphas for like 3D, the 3D software. But overall, you can tell when something is like really well built and it has a structure, and the stuff that he's done, I think is pretty cool. So
nice. Gem Mint Collectibles, he's in the comment section. He wanted to ask, who are some up and coming sculptors that Eric is a fan of?
Well, he's one of them. Romel. There's also I don't know how to pronounce his name. His name is Gurjeet. Let me see. What is his last name? Let me see. I think it's Gurjeet Singh. Is that his name? Yeah. Gurjeet Singh. Yeah, that guy is really, really good. I don't know if you guys have seen his what is it that he's done lately? Well, he did this piece for a friend of mine, Dave Wilkins, called Samba. Wow, it's super cool. Let me see if I can show you. That's right here. Let me see. How do I share this? Let me show you really quick. Okay. So it's right here. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. I mean, that's awesome, man.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Super cool. So yeah, this guy is really, really good. There's like who else is there? There's Daniel Bell. He's really good.
Yeah.
There's also this other guy. I mean, there's a bunch of them, man. But yeah, just like a lot of these guys are coming. Like Vimal Kriketa, he's a good friend of mine. They're basically people that work or have worked in the video games industry or video game industry, and they know the software really well. They know how to like light up their sculpts. That's on top of like them being great sculptors. Okay, so their presentation, like the way they do things, like it's just super tight. So yeah, I think the future will bring like cooler, more crisp, more detailed patches. The only issue is can the companies keep up with the QC? Because you guys, you see like a lot of as a collector, because I do collect like stuff like Van Presto stuff, whatever. What I like about this company, for example, I mean, you can't compare obviously because there's a $30 actual figurine, but can you guys see my camera? No.
No, we got. I think you're still screen sharing.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Eric, what do you think? What do you think of Vimal Kurketa?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Vimal is like, look,
that guy's a beast, man.
Yeah, Vimal is like a monster, man. Look. Wait, how come I can't? I want to share my screen. Okay, there you go. Done by Vimal. Yeah, Vimal is like an amazing guy. I remember I met him at E3 like 3 years ago, I think. He was working for this company out of India, and yeah, man, I just had a long chat. I took him to like Wang's studio. This guy that he's super famous. He does like he's one of the gods of effects. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He designed the Predator for the movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and he owns his own company. It's called it's what it's elite. It's elite creature collectibles, something like that. What it's called?
Yo, Fate, we can hear you eating candy, Fate. So, Eric, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
While you look that up, a lot of people in the industry think that the prices are going up on statues, and that it's kind of pricing where they're pricing out a lot of people right now. Quarter scale, 1/6 scale, prices are jumping up there. Do you have any opinions on like prices and stuff like that and the combined with the popularity of all these movies and everything else that's coming out?
Cool. Yeah. Well, let me just show you really quick. Really quick. This is Steve Wang, and this is his company, Elite Creature Collectibles.
Oh yeah.
Back to your question, really quick. So let's see. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Is it working? Oh, there you go. Okay. So anyway, yeah, man. To be honest, like I get to go to China like every 4 months, 3 months or so, and while it's true that the cost of production keeps going up, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but next year is going to get pretty crazy. We still don't know what's going to happen. A lot of us in the industry are aware of it, that there's going to be some sanctions in regards to items produced in China. There's already a trade war going on, as you guys know, but it's been announced that now it's going to affect collectibles and toys. And I know this for a fact firsthand because there's this huge video game company that I might end up doing stuff with. but they're just a little weary about, launching like a lot of product because they're still not they're still not sure how much will the new the new sanctions will affect them in terms of like their sales, because they're going to have to raise their prices, and already the industry is like suffering from that, like inflation. That's one thing. The other thing is that obviously because of inflation, the costs of producing, the cost of raw materials in China are going up. Like almost, you can't get the same quote. Okay, let's say I go to factory X and I say, hey, how much for you to, produce this for me? I want 1,000 pieces, 1,000 units. And they'll give you like a quote. They'll go, okay, this is going to cost this much this month. But then you come back like a month later and the price just went up again. So, but personally, I don't believe like the prices are going up in such a way that hopefully, what I'm trying to say is that companies should try to control the prices, but it's kind of tough for each company to control prices when other companies keep raising prices. So then the rest of the industry keeps doing it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we launched our Street Fighter stuff like 2 years ago. People thought we were insane because we were selling stuff at $650. The only thing they didn't know was that because we had a competition, the competition didn't want us to sell at a certain price. So we were basically pushed into selling at a higher price point, which I personally thought was going to kill our company. But what I decided to do was like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give people like the best quality we can within the parameters of what we can really do. And we paid more for production. But in reality, it kind of paid off. Like we had some issues with some reuse, but for the most part, people really liked the decoration and everything. And then with Akuma, it's been pretty successful. The people have accepted it. They like the quality and everything, the packaging, everything. So I personally believe that companies, I don't even know if that's even possible, but companies should try to keep prices at a certain level so that people keep coming back. But if one company goes up to like say $900 for a core scale statue, and then the other company goes, okay, I'll sell them for the same price, and then everybody else starts doing that, that affects your pockets as consumers. And in the end, yes, companies are making more money, but it's also going to end up affecting them, eventually. And yes, true, there's companies like Diamond or Sideshow that do distribution, right? And that's their backbone, basically. And I assure you, if these companies were not to have that backbone, it would crumble. Okay, but you have to think like a company that does this is only as strong as the companies they work with. So if these other companies, smaller companies that come to like someone to do distribution and they're not having really good sales, that eventually is going to get to the larger company. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of tough, man. It's a catch-22 kind of thing because you could actually go to other countries where it's probably cheaper, labor's cheaper than in China, but the truth is that they probably do not have the manufacturing knowledge that China has, to be honest. And like basically training a new group of people to learn what China has been doing for like decades is going to take a while. Even Hasbro has stated publicly that, if the whole trade war thing starts affecting their sales, they're going to start moving out of China. They already said that, but it's going to take them years. So training or retraining a new group of people in another country that might be cheaper than China, it sounds like, oh, that's easy to do. That's not an issue. But no, trust me, man. The factories in China, they already know. They got everything put together. They know exactly how to do things. The only thing they need, though, is that they have a different standard than you and I, because I'm an artist and you guys are collectors, so we both have like this level of expectation, right, for the product, right? But to them, it's like, man, these guys, if this thing has like a little smear on his skin or whatever, let's say this Akuma, has this little smear here, right here, to me it looks fine overall, everything is good. So let's wrap it up, you know. So that's when QC comes in. That's where it comes in, and that's when you tell them like, no, this is not acceptable. Please fix this. But trust me, guys, like that's why I've told people in the past, like if one day we can actually raffle like some kind of like trip to China and take one of you guys or a couple of you guys to China, you'll see that really it's not impossible, but it's not as easy as it seems to actually get really good quality products. So that's why when I see companies that put out like really good product, I commend them for doing that. The only thing is that requires resources, but it is doable though. I mean, we're just like, I'm just a one guy company. Basically, there's three of us. But if I were a company that's making like, you know, like $3 million a year, I think I could afford to have like, you know, a couple of people that are pros doing quality control. But again, this is not, I'm not taking a stab at other companies. It's really difficult. I can only imagine logistically what it is like to be overseeing like, say like, you know, 30 products a year or whatever, or 10 or whatever it is that they're doing. Just one. If you think about it, we've been around for 2 years, I think, almost 3 years, and I've only put out like one character per year. And the only reason why I haven't been like, you know, basically flooding the market every 3 months with, you know, quarterly with a new release, because I could have done that and made a lot of money, just because there would have been no control whatsoever of the actual quality, because we were new, we were learning the ropes. So imagine, let's say I release Ryu and I really don't know what's going on the side of the manufacturing side, whatever. And then I go like, oh, 3 months later, let's release Ken, let's release Akuma, let's release like Honda, you know, and I keep flooding the market. And that's when you start seeing like a backlash with people like, oh, this thing, you know, it's taking 3 years and it's not out yet. Or, oh, this thing just came in, but look, the eyes are cross-eyed or whatever. They're crossed or whatever. So you don't want that. So I'd rather just, you know, take off little by little. Eventually, maybe by the third year, now that we're entering the third year, I can start releasing it quarterly. So I hope that works, you know. To be honest, like there's not a lot of money to be made in making like 300 units. It's decent money, but I can see how like a larger company would focus in actually releasing a lot more than that, because otherwise like their overhead would basically crush them, you know. So
yeah.
I hope I answered your question, man. Sorry.
No. Yeah, definitely. It's great insight. I wanted to follow up with, you know, what is the biggest influence on edition size, I guess, for, I guess, statues?
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to like say things because I don't like it when I do. But the truth is that the biggest factor in determining like, you know, an edition size, there's a lot of factors. Obviously, how popular the brand is, how popular the license is, how popular the character. Because, you know, you can have a DC license, but, you know, not everything sells as well as Harley Quinn, because believe it or not, she sells like hotcakes. Or, you know, even like, you know, Wonder Woman doesn't sell as well as Harley Quinn or Batman, just so you know. So if you release like a Killer Croc, I'm looking at John's like, you know, screen, and he's got like a Killer Croc there. I don't know, man. I just don't know that Killer Croc could sell like, you know, 3,000 units, like a Thanos on Throne. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the determining factors. The other thing is that the industry is going through kind of like a deflation stage from my perspective, where there's so much cool stuff out there, but there's a lot of the same. So people have more options, and where there's a lot of options, there's less consuming. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they miss the mark, a lot.
Then that's the other issue, where you have like all these companies doing like, let's say I have my company and I get a DC license and I release a Batman, and then next thing you know, this other company is releasing Batman, this other company is releasing Batman, this other company. So, but a lot of them sometimes will miss the mark. So people, you guys will, I would do the same, and you guys are not guilty of doing that. It's basically, that's how it works. So if I were to see that I have 5 options for a Batman statue, and only one of them or a couple of them are like really good, well, nobody can really blame me for not buying all of the other 3, right? So that's how it works. So I think from this point on, collectors have a lot more power to determine what gets done and what doesn't, because believe it or not, even though some companies will not accept that the collectors really have a say in things, it's like you guys are doing it you're voting by not buying certain things. and that's what determines like what comes out, how many units, and everything. Another thing that happens in the industry is that a lot of it's been happening a lot. It's like, and you guys know this, and this is not like a secret or anything. It's like a lot of companies use hype to sell their stuff, and they go like, "Oh, thank you guys, we sold like within a minute." You know, that's a lie. And I'm here to tell you. And if someone hates me for saying this, I'm sorry, but
it's 7 o'clock.
It's the truth. It's that's just a tool, a marketing tool, but it's getting old. Like people have caught on. You know, they know what's going on. And it's better to just be honest and say like, hey guys, you know, we still have like, you know, 50 units here or whatever. And not say like, oh, we just found out an extra, you know, pair of these Venoms, you know, in a corner, you know, catching dust. That's not true. You have like 100 of them in there. Just, you know, find other ways to like move that stuff. I don't know. I mean, can you really blame them? I don't know. But I personally wouldn't like to do that. I just won't. Like, that's why we haven't announced like, Ryu sold out. The only thing we announced that was sold out, and that's because it was true. It was the evil Ryu. It sold out like within a day or a few hours. But then again, we only made 150, I think. So whatever, you know. But the white Ryu is not sold out. We have it as sold out on the website because that way people can't, you know, try to use the website because the website is down right now. Well, actually, I think it went up, but we're fixing it. So anyway, but we have a few of them, like just a handful. So for Akumas, we still have a handful as well. But I'd rather not go around saying like, oh, sold out, thank you for buying, you know, our 500 units, you know, when in reality we know that you only sold 300 maybe and you still have 200. And then like a year later, they're going to end up at some other company being sold for half the price or something. And then people are going to hate you. I'd rather not do that, you know, so I'd rather just be honest and say, guys, you know, we could only move like 200 with the pre-orders and that's all we're doing. If anything, we might like basically pump it up to like 50 more. Hoping that more people that probably haven't seen the product or are not aware of the product will buy it, and I could pocket a few extra $1,000. That's it. That's it.
So I know you promised an hour because you had to.
Oh, it's fine.
My
wife is here. Let me ask her if it's cool. Okay, she says no. Sorry, guys. No, I'm kidding. No, 20 minutes. Yes, it's fine.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Tell me. No.
Let me go through some of these comments real quick.
I think this is a good question. Cass, it says, you have any? What are your plans exactly for Prototype C? You got any new licenses or any new products coming up?
I have to be really honest, guys. With prototypes right now, we're gonna start like the whole company's been restructured. I'm the new owner, the sole owner. My friend Glenn's still helping us out, but now it's a corporation, and we just got the documentation like a few weeks back. And we've restructured the website. It's still being restructured, and we're gonna try to launch after Ken, like every character, like every 3 months, which we can. The only issue is like I just want to see like if people can actually react well to that, you know, like a more constant, you know, rhythm of releases. But if that happens, then cool, you know, because I can see how like people are expecting these 17, 16 characters, and if I'm gonna take like I'm gonna make one a year. They'll be dead by the time the last one gets released, and I am aware. But I'm just like that, guys. Like I wouldn't feel happy releasing stuff, like basically just showering you guys with like releases every 3 months, knowing that I still don't know how to control QC. So I've learned now, and now I think we improved a lot of stuff with Akuma, and I'm hoping that for the next releases it'll be a lot easier. So in terms of that, I'm also thinking of basically doing a line of original stuff. I'm working on designs and everything, and probably something more like akin to maybe Greek mythology, but I still don't know because I know there's other people that are working on that stuff, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Plus, the industry really can't handle like like a lot of similar stuff these days. So I have to like just look into it and make sure that I'm not doing something that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is for someone that likes diodes. Okay, there's been a certain resurgence of diodes as of late, especially since I'm gonna say I think I jumped into the game around 2012, so it really wasn't that much going on, and I'm talking like quarter scale or at least fifth scale. What do you think about the resurgence of diodes, and which diode was like your favorite to work on? So that's 2 questions.
Good question, man. In terms of dioramas, I've done dioramas, but they've never come out. Not that I'm aware of. We did like a dinosaur diorama a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting that never came out. But personally, I do like the idea of dioramas. It's just like it tells a story better than just a standalone iconic character. You know, I kind of like what Sideshow is doing right now with Steve Lord's like Batman versus Superman. That thing is amazing. I don't know if you guys obviously seen it, but I don't know if you've seen it in person, but I haven't. But it just looks really cool. I do believe that. I don't know. I could be wrong though, but I think like superhero movies, they still probably have a good 7 years. You know, in terms of like a lifespan. You know, kind of. I don't know. Maybe 10. I don't know. Because you know, like now with the whole merging of like Disney and Fox, there might be more like X-Men films, like but probably better. I really don't know. That's up to debate. But I believe like maybe the next 10 years, like, you know, we will be seeing a lot more stuff in terms of superheroes, in terms of films. And now with the new Disney Netflix kind of thing going on, like their own streaming service, I really can't tell you, but I do believe that dioramas are super cool, and I think there's not enough of them. If you look at, again, the ones that Steve Lord did for McFarlane, it's just, man, if you look at the whole concept that he manages, which is kind of like a scene from The Matrix. If you remember The Matrix, where Trinity's like jumping and doing the thing and hitting someone, you can see the blood, you know, coming out of the mouth and just floating there. A lot of people say that, oh, that's not possible to do in 3D. It is. Like if you look at what Steve Lord did with the Walking Dead dioramas, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I've always thought, like, why can't the company do, like, say, Wolverine destroying, I don't know, like, you know, what's his name, Sabretooth or something like that, or both of them like just like tearing each other apart. You know, there's limitations with Disney. A few years back, I tried to do like a series of dioramas with Kotobuki, and one of them was basically Sabretooth, and he was like dragging like this carcass of a deer or something. And in terms of the concept, it was approved. People, you know, Disney liked it. But then when they actually saw the painted prototype at Comic-Con, they said, I don't know, maybe it's just a graphic. I don't know. They just said no. And he wasn't, you know, doing like anything crazy or anything. He was just like, you know, he was just dragging the leg of a deer. You know, so I think in terms of like dioramas, yeah, you can do so much more, man. Like just look at what the Japanese do with their stuff. So that's what I think they should do more.
Nice. So you predicted the film of like the industry for some more years for superhero films. Is it easy for sculptors to go from sculpting statues to sculpting Disney characters and movies or even video games? I guess a lot of us all play video games here. Is that something you guys could easily go transition into? I guess sculptors and artists that, you know.
Meaning transition from like what we do to like video games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like do you guys bounce around from doing traditional 3D sculpts and go into video games and make a living off of video games?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, actually 3D skills or using a 3D software, I've done a lot of stuff for video games, just so you know. I've done models like for Marvel video games, like for like mobile games. I can't remember the name of the game, but I did this for some studio. I forget the name of the studio, but yeah, we did this like set of we did a Venom, we did a Spider-Man, we did a Hulk for some kind of intro, some video game. To be honest, I haven't even played the game or anything, but yeah, once you already, that's the reason why people come from that realm of video games and they cross over to collectibles, because to them, like doing collectibles is probably in a sense probably a lot easier than doing all the technical stuff that they have to do in order for a character to be rigged and posed, and all these, you know, iterations for the character in order for it to like work for the video game market. Versus like here, you just do the one thing, just sculpt the model and post it and whatever, and that's it. You're done. If anything, you have to engineer. But the other way around, the way you're saying is like, yeah, I can actually jump into probably like right now. To be honest, I got an offer to like work for one of the largest video game companies that's near me, and it's an amazing place. I've been there. I have a friend that works there. There might be a chance for me to actually do some stuff with them, but the only thing is that they would probably want me to be there like as an employee, which I don't know if I really want to do that. But that's beside the point. What I'm saying is that it's really cool because once you have the knowledge of 3D modeling and everything, it's pretty easy for you to acquire the rest of the skills that could actually allow you to thrive in such an environment in video games. The only thing that I hear a lot of stuff from like friends that have worked in the video games industry, and I think my industry is like sometimes kind of crazy, you know, in terms of like deadlines and stuff like that. And I hear that these guys sometimes they have to stay at the office for 3 days, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I really would want to do that, to be honest. I really enjoy being here at home, being able to watch my kids, being able to just like finish this interview, say goodbye to you guys, and just go to the movies with my wife. And that's really cool. But if I were working at a studio, if the deadline's like still looming, I can't leave, man. You know, so
yeah.
To me, it's like I have to be honest with you guys. What I'm looking for is just more freedom, just freedom to be with my family and just freedom to create what I like, and that would be cool. If I were to have things my way, I would just be creating like a line of fantasy characters, dragons, whatever, just crazy dioramas or something, kaiju, giant robots destroying kaiju. I don't know, man. And if people would buy that stuff, yeah, I'd be doing like crazy stuff. But it just seems like, you know, and I understand it's like people like superheroes and stuff like that. So
yeah,
what we do. So, you know.
So Halloween just passed, and I believe you're a fan of horror, right?
Yeah. Not kind of horror, but yeah, just like werewolf movies and
yeah.
So yeah.
What's the coolest horror statue that you've made, or your favorite, I guess?
Good question.
I personally just bought the Nightmare Batman statue from Sideshow.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah, as done by this guy that's actually in video games, Raf Grassetti. He's an amazing sculptor. Yeah, is that the one that looks more like organic? Is that it? Yeah,
like the organic Batman suit, and he's a man bat.
That thing's already out?
Yeah, it's shipped.
Do you know how much it costs? Because I'm probably gonna buy that.
I think it was like $525 or something like that.
It does come like with an alternate head or something, right?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and see. I got them right there by Killer Croc.
Cool. Let me see. It's just.
Yeah. Let me get closer.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. That thing is nice, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's doing that because they're kind of like revisiting these characters, revamping them. That's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. They should do more of that stuff. But I don't know if it could work with a character like Superman or something. But Martian Manhunter, yeah, you could totally do something insane.
Yeah, definitely. Jay Remy in the comment section asks before he leaves if he'll ever come back on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you guys have time and it's cool, you'll have me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people enjoy your insight, and I think majority of the people are really big fans of the work you did and are doing now. One of my favorite statues is the Spider-Man and the Venom you did, the 1/6 Kotobukiya statues.
Yeah, that's kind of old. Yeah.
Yeah, that's old, but yeah, they're still my favorite.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, those were done by hand. That was a while back. Yeah, it's really weird. Like as a sculptor, like at least me personally, like I look at the work that I did like a month ago, and I just kind of cringe. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's like thinking? You know, I was probably too tired or something, and I see things, and I'm like, this could have been improved. This post could have been improved. These textures, but you can't be too critical either, because then you kind of put yourself down. You know, so you have to like say, oh, improve, and it's all good. You know, like next time around, if I do another Venom, I'll try to make it better. You know, but yeah, man, it's those pieces, like, yeah, those were done like by hand, actually. Those were probably like some of my last pieces sculpted by hand for Koto, maybe, I think.
Oh, nice.
And then I've done this Nightmare Batman for DC Collectibles. Yeah, he's actually sitting back there somewhere. I can't remember where he is. But yeah, but that piece was awesome. That was my last piece for them by hand. And I believe I have another piece that I did for them around here. I don't know what it is. I have so much stuff. But yeah, man, it's like that turtle that I'm doing, that kaiju. I mean, I haven't sculpted by hand, and I don't even remember how long. So yeah, it's fun. I honestly, it's really weird. Like after doing digital, like, because there's this option to do symmetry. So basically, when I'm sculpting one side, the software is actually sculpting the other side, mirroring everything I'm doing. So it's still you, but it's mirroring. So that saves you a lot of time, right? But yeah, it's a bigger challenge.
So yeah, so a lot of guys feel like a lot of guys are purists, where they're like, I'd rather have a hand sculpted statue than digital. What is your take on that?
I personally think, like, honestly, just so you know, like, it's a good question, because I was just talking to my friend last night, and I told him, like, listen, this turtle is really cool, and it's coming along, but I probably would be done by tomorrow with the whole thing, with textures and everything, if you were to let me do it, let me do it in 3D. And he says, no, I think you're more well known in Japan for doing traditional stuff. Like, people want to see like little mistakes and your fingerprints, and they don't want to see something super clean. So can you please do it by hand? I'm like, no, I'll continue. It's fine. But yeah, personally, man, I see it as a tool, to be honest. Like, in terms of like being able to provide for your family, I can tell you this, and this is the honest truth. I went from being able to do like maybe 28 projects a year by hand to maybe making like 3 times as much in digital. So I counted like 2 years ago, and we did like all in all, like for Mattel and Disney consumer products, and like some of the statues I did for Kodo, which was like probably just 2 of them. All in all, like maybe 60 projects. So yeah, so you can see how like that changes your output completely in that sense. But to be honest, in terms of like having fun and everything, I rather much do things by hand. I would rather just do that. And personally, if I were to have my way, I would rather just do monsters and creatures and stuff like that, rather than just do like, My Little Pony and everything.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna rewind back to Cass. He brought up the Halloween earlier in the conversation. So, do you dabble in making masks and stuff like that, or concepts, or for Halloween?
Oh, if I've ever done that?
Yeah.
I've done monsters and stuff like that, but nothing for. Well, I was this close to working with Guillermo del Toro. That never happened. And then I had a friend that was actually introducing me to James Cameron. So at some point, I probably would have done like some concept work or something in 3D or by hand, but that never came to be. So to be honest, like I've never done that. I would love to. That would be so cool to do, like, digital, like take on masks and then get it printed and then get them produced, whatever. But the reality is that, like, for example, like Halloween masks, like I know this guy that does like special effects, and well, a couple of them, and basically the way it is done is like all done by hand. That's the way they do it. And then they do a quick mold, and then they do like, the latex pour and everything, and that's how it gets done. But I can see how like digitally you could do like crazy stuff, man. Like, you have no idea. It's just really sweet stuff. But it's more expensive. Imagine like 3D printing something like this. This is done by Aris Kolokontes in Greece. It would make a great mask, but if you print this life size, it's gonna be so expensive. So it's a matter of cost. Like, 3D printing, it's getting cheaper now. And I honestly foresee that in the future, a lot of collectors are basically just going to come to someone like me that's going to have a web store, okay? I actually already started doing this, just so you know. I actually have a group called, I forget what it's called. But anyway, I have a group where I'm selling generic-looking heroes, okay? So basically, I'll give you a character that, he's got a cape, and he's got a cowl and everything. And it looks a lot like the big guy, the Dark Knight, but he doesn't have the emblem. He doesn't have the scallops. He doesn't have like the ears. But basically, if you're gonna get, even if you were to get a licensed Batman kit, you would have to have a painter basically put it together for you, right? And then a lot of you guys actually get these like basically custom made or tweaked or whatever, enhanced. So why not just make a line of characters that kind of resembles like 90% like, you know, a known licensed character, but without breaking any laws or anything. And you do like a character like Superman without the emblem. You know, everything's there, but it's not even decorated because it's a grayscale. So it looks like this guy right here, right? You know, like, you know, but it's not decorated, doesn't have the colors, doesn't have the emblem. But then when you send it to your painter, the painter will actually do his thing, and he can turn it into whomever. He can turn them into like Mon-El, or he can turn them into Superman, whatever, you know. So it's up to you. Yeah, exactly. You can do that. Yeah, and then I can basically sell like a pack where, and I'm actually doing that, where, you know, I just make the hands, and the hands are all creepy looking, and then like the Bizarro looking head, whatever, Frankenstein looking head, and that's it. You can sell that. That's legal. The issue is when you start using the emblems and the colors and everything. So in that sense, like, I think in the future, there's going to be a lot. It's already happening, actually, where you go to a website and you basically buy parts, you 3D print them in your computer, and then you put together whatever character. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these video games, like the wrestling video games, like WWE or whatever, where you can actually make your own character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pay for those licenses. All they do is like they have these boots that look kind of like Goku's boots, you know, and you know they look like that. That in itself is not an issue. You can do that, you know. They actually wear these in Mongolia, so that's not an issue. Then the pants are just pants, you know. And then they even have like the wig that kind of looks like that with all the little spikes and everything. And then basically all you do is you just put things together, and you create your own character, right? That looks like these known characters. So I think in the future that probably will happen, where more creators will sell the content in pieces, and then someone like you guys can just go in, or myself, I can just go in and go, okay, $20 for this arm, for these 2 arms, this torso is another 30. You know, these legs are like, you know, 50 each. You know, the boots, whatever, the base, boom, the head. I want to choose this, and you have different types of portraits, different expressions, and then you just like choose them, and they all like fit universally. Put it together, boom, cape. You know, cape is like maybe $100, whatever, because it's bigger, and that's it. And then you just 3D print it. You get your piece, and 3D printers actually are getting so good right now that you can actually do this thing called poly painting, where you just paint your 3D model, and that data is actually absorbed by the 3D printer, and it's interpreted, and basically it's injected into the material as it's being printed. So basically, as you're growing the piece, it's growing with the colors and everything. So if you think about it, that's going to be the future. And in the next, like, maybe 10 years, we're going to see a lot of that stuff, I believe.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Cool. So these companies that are doing that right now, they're battling each other and trying to be number one and everything. Eventually, if they don't try to like adapt, things are going to change. Technology is advancing really fast, especially rapid prototyping. So I see that happening. I mean, I've already had people go like, oh, can I just buy your torso? Can I buy this? And I haven't sold anything, but I mean, they could do that and just like basically make like a buck body and create anything they want, if you think about it, you know? So that might happen in the future. And then it doesn't have to be a static piece like say this dude right here, like, you know, just like what we call T-pose, which is just like, you know, just standing there. You know, it could be something like this dude, you know, where he already has like a pose and attitude and everything, and you just dress him up, and that's it. And the file is going to cost you maybe all in all, like maybe a couple $100. That's it.
Yeah, will that put more money in the artist's hands, which I think everyone wants it to go to? But
yeah, I think it might. I just don't know. I think at some point, I think it's going to happen. Wherever there's money to be made, I think there might be a thing where like companies might not like that, or they might see that as a threat, because realistically that could be a threat, or they might want to stop that, and maybe even like, you know, I don't know, find a way so the software doesn't do certain things or something. But I don't think that can happen. I don't think. I mean, even if it wasn't done in 3D, like it could be done by hand. To be honest, I could just make like this naked dude, right? Well, I mean, not naked, but he's wearing like a leotard or something, right? And then I can just sell you like some briefs. I can sell you some boots. Like I said, like different portraits that are really cool looking, you know, some that might resemble a certain actor or whatever, you know, without infringing on any rights. It's just a bald guy. And then different wigs, you glue them together, you engineer them together. Like when you actually sculpt, everything fits, and then like snugly, and that's it, man. You can have like your own Bruce Wayne. You could have your own Clark Kent. You could have Wolverine. You could have like a cowboy looking Wolverine. I don't know, man. You can just do anything. Different sizes, different like heights, like, you know, muscular mass that's different, you know, like some are really buff, some are thinner. I don't know, man. I think that might happen. I think that's coming, and it's already happening. There's like websites that are actually selling files that you can actually 3D print and everything. They're not that good, but eventually I'm pretty sure they're going to start improving that, and that's when it's going to start hitting, you know.
Do you think that'll take off with toys first, maybe?
It's already taking off with action figures.
Action figures, okay.
Already, yeah. So you can buy like an action figure body and dress them up, and there's all these forums out there that are like super hidden and whatever, and not hidden because they're like illegal or something. It's just that they're not that popular because we're not in those circles, you and I, right? But there are a lot of people that are already building their own like mechas, or they're building their own superheroes or their own favorite character just by collecting all these different pieces. They share and everything, and then they build their stuff with a 3D printer. That's if you look at this, hold on, at this 3D printer, right? You can see that?
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, that's like 60K. And then if you look at that orange one right there, it's super tiny. It looks like a little fridge or something, like a little microwave. That was 3,500. And if you ask me which one has better quality and which one's faster.
Probably the smaller one. Yeah.
It's better quality, man. The quality is so amazing. Like it's just you can see, you can actually get pores on let me see. So like, yeah, something like this. This is Bimal's work. You can't really see it, but it has pores and basically wrinkles and everything, and the hair's like super tight. And that's that little thing. So that's what's coming, man. That's what's gonna happen. So I think it's a matter of time. And you know, another thing that the industry needs, I think, is like artists need to like come together and like share more information. And sadly, I mean, I'm not how can I say? I don't want to come across like, oh, holier than thou or anything, but some sculptors, some artists, like, you know, they just don't know certain things because other artists, we just don't share stuff. Like people that have been around longer, we're just afraid because we're thinking like, oh, if I share this technique, or if I tell him about this, where he can get these materials, or how to do this technique in 3D or whatever, he's going to take my job. And I can understand that. I can relate to that, but it's really, it doesn't work that way. I think it would be really cool to have a community where people are helping each other, and we probably work with collectors, and we generate better product, and we listen to the community overall, because you can't listen to individuals like to every single like opinion, but overall you can say, okay, this is what most people want, let's do this. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think it might, but it's up to like, you know, artists, you know. So
what's the best way to go about listening to your critics? Because you know, you want to be careful sometimes because you don't want to just get the small majority of angry guys, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. For instance, like Sideshow, they're doing like these new female statue characters, and a lot of people don't like the way they look because they look a little bit more realistic, and some of them look a little bit more, I guess, manly. I don't want, you know what I mean? No offense, but like, but do they even take that into consideration? And you know what I mean? Do they even care?
That's a good question. Well, all I can tell you is that I'm pretty sure the artists involved, like, you know, they might be like, you know, I mean, I can't speak for them, but I know what you're talking about, like their Poison Ivy that they did. I love it, actually. I love the fact that things are looking more realistic. But I think there should always be, if this is just my opinion, and I'm not tagging on anybody, it's just as collectors, you guys grew up with a specific stylized look to your characters that you love, right? And myself too, because I'm not a collector, but I'm a geek, and I grew up watching certain things, certain cartoons or whatever. But I think there should be a marriage between realism and that stylized look, you know. So for example, if you're doing Jim Lee, you can make it where it looks reminiscent of Jim Lee, and you can see it immediately from 20 feet away. But you can still like add pores, and you can, the structure of the nostrils and everything, just make it more natural. So in that sense, like I personally love what Sideshow is doing now, but I see that a lot of people don't like that as much. And I think that a company, I can't speak for Sideshow, so I can't tell you like, oh yeah, they listen or they don't. I think the way you can tell that they're listening or a company's listening is by the way they improve the product as they go. So the next release might be more or closer to what the entire community or overall what the opinion is, the public opinion. So I don't know. Yeah. Personally, I think it's a good thing to listen to the community, because these are the people that are basically buying your product. But at the same time, you will agree with me that there's some specific individuals that want something really just this way or the other, and if you don't give them that, like they'll blow up, But you can't please everybody. That's one thing I've learned. You can try to listen to the majority, but you can't please everybody. You just can't. It's not possible. Every now and then, you might be able to do like something like when I did the Wolverine diorama or statue for Kodo. There was this one guy that said, "You know what, Eric?" And it was a great idea. He says, "You should add like a maple leaf on the on the rock or something, so we can tell it's Canada." I was like, all right. And I didn't say anything. I just did it. So when he actually found out and he saw it, he was super happy. And then the whole community was happy. And I think that's really cool. You can do that. Yeah. Little nods to like, hey, dude, I remember you. Like when we did our Ryu, I didn't know what the base should look like. And there was this guy, Simone Romano. He's this guy from Italy. And he's like, Eric, you should use elements from Ryu stage. And I did that. And he loved it. And I actually gave him credit on the box. So I think really? Things like a company that does that, people love that. Again, no company's perfect, man, because it's all, we're all recruited, out of the human race. So we all mess up, but the truth is that, yes, as a company, if you have more resources and everything, I think you can listen to the majority. And it's pretty cool that Sideshow has like this, I think they have like a live thing where they post something and people can, I don't know, they can chat or something and give their opinions. I think that's pretty cool. I think they're trying the best they can to actually, cater to people. But then you have to understand they probably have a vision as well internally. So I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I don't want to keep you over time. I know you got stuff going on.
It's like pointing at me with a gun. No. Just messing. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
All right. Well, so what do you have going on right now? Like, what's most important right now for you?
Well, right now, I have a few things. Like I told you, like I'm working on this line of action figures, and I'm trying to get that off the ground. I'm working on this line of little figurines as well. Because see, the thing is that I've discovered that the one thing that actually generates more revenue, it's actually not polystone. It's actually PVC, So I'm doing a lot of projects that involve like mass producing in PVC. And then like we also have like the Street Fighter line that we're working on. We're hoping that, see, the issue we have right now with Ken is that we're basically waiting. It's a process, man. It's basically, we have the license for like, basically a global license, right? But we cannot sell in Asia. And we could have already like released the character, like say 3 months ago. The problem is that getting the contract for the Asia territory takes months. And here we are still waiting and hoping that that'll happen soon, so that then we can release, because there's people that have supported us in Asia, and for me to just release it just so I can make a quick buck without taking them into consideration, that would be kind of wrong. So even though I'm taking a lot of flack for not releasing already, releasing Ken, I really want everybody to be able to get it, because they've supported us a lot. Like the people that actually distribute our product are really good people. So I'm just hoping that, I've been trying to pressure like, Capcom so we can get that done. And hopefully I can soon. And what we're gonna do, I'm thinking that we're just gonna start like moving everything, all the engines, revving up the engines, so we can start showing the prototype and everything, and hopefully like release it as soon as possible. If it's not at the end of the year, it'll be the beginning of the year. But from that point on, I've already established like a schedule where every 3 months we keep releasing every 3 months. And I think we can do it now because we know good partners that do QC in China. Some of them are from Japan, and they've actually done the QC for both statues, and the results have been great. So now I think like if we keep doing that, I think we can do well. To be honest, I got to be really honest with you and with everybody watching this, is that we're not aiming at making 1,000 units anymore. To be honest, the way the industry is, I think it's shrinking a lot, especially for like a little guy or a little company like ours. I think like, you know, I'd be happy if I can move 300 units, 200 units, to be honest. If we do like 100 of the exclusive, whatever, that's fine. I really don't care. It's just a matter of just releasing all the characters constantly, and maybe in the next like 5 years have, in the next 5 years have everything released, hopefully. And then I would probably move on to something else. I've thought of doing action figures that look kind of like Hot Toys quality, you know, for other licenses, but I don't know. It's the whole or tacos. To be honest, I gotta be honest. I'm thinking of opening a restaurant, so that's the truth.
Someone in the comments was asking about. Ask him to ask about the best taco or something.
The best taco? Okay, I can tell you. One of the best places in LA that was making the best taco was actually a place called Sonoritas, but they made ribeye tacos, and they're like gourmet tacos, and they're like $7, man. They went from $5 to $7, and they're this big. They're tiny. So I don't go there anymore, man. It's just too expensive. I took my friends, and I almost had to default on my mortgage. It was so expensive, man. So I was like, no, never again. So my wife, she actually knows how to cook those. They cook those in the northern part of Mexico, and they're made with flour tortillas, handmade and everything. Oh man, it's just molten cheese and guacamole and everything. It's the best. I'm pretty sure that if I were to open a joint selling that stuff, there's someone that actually did it, but they don't use ribeye. They just use like beef chuck. And even with that, man, they're doing super well. They're like super popular here in LA. And there's like a huge line of people waiting during lunch just to get one of those tacos. So I'm pretty sure if I were to do it with ribeye, yeah, man, I'd be rich in a year, I think. So I might do that. But yeah, no, I'll always keep sculpting, man. That's what I love doing. But I have to be really honest. Like after the Street Fighter thing, I'm thinking I'm just gonna focus more on original stuff and doing like more like action figure projects and everything. Obviously, if the opportunity arises to do cool quarter scale stuff, yeah, I would definitely love to do that stuff. But right now, the market is super overcrowded in terms of, like I said, product, but it is also super overcrowded in terms of sculptors. There's more and more and more artists coming in like every month, and that's good. But in terms of like getting work for like everybody, it's like you have this one pie that's really tiny already in the collectibles industry, and trying to get a piece for everybody, it's not really possible. So I know of a lot of people right now that are not getting a lot of work, just so you know. So it's kind of sad, but hopefully things will turn around, you know. But next year could prove to be a test for a lot of people in the industry, including myself, if basically the trade war continues. And now it's basically, from what we hear, is that it's spreading into collectibles and toys next year. So I hope not, man. I hope not. So
wow. Yeah. Are you? It's the end of the year, but are you going to be anywhere this year or maybe next year where people get autographs? I think someone asked that in the comment section.
Where at?
I don't know where they were at.
You guys in New York?
In New York.
Yeah, you're in New York.
No, I'm in Florida. But the guy that asked, I don't know where he's at, but I know Chris, the guy that's usually on the channel with us. I think he got some signatures from you at New York Comic Con.
Oh, cool.
So.
Chris,
yeah, I don't know his last name.
Oh, cool.
I forgot what he had signed. I think maybe it was like a Wolverine base or something like that.
I remember someone brought like something, and then there was also I forget his last name, but his last name is Velasquez. With glasses, tall guy. He's really cool, and I remember his feet or his legs like hurt a lot or something. He had been walking like forever. And Charles Velasquez, he was really cool, and he's a really nice guy. And I think I signed a few things for him.
Oh, awesome!
A bunch of stuff, and he was carrying this poor guy.
Chris, people in the comments are saying Chris Crespo. He's a young kid. He probably had a bunch of bases with him that he probably had you sign.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I talked to Chris. Yeah, Chris Crespo. Yeah, I know. He's cool. Hi, Chris. If you're watching, I'm gonna start making talks. I know, but yeah, I usually don't go to a lot of conventions. To be honest, I don't. But I really love New York, man. I did. I went to this event for the Van Presto stuff. Actually, it was for this little guy right here, and I would love to go again. So any type of opportunity to go to New York Comic Con or something, yeah, I would love to go. I couldn't go this year because there's a few family things that are going on. My brother's really ill right now, and I just want to stick around for a while. And I try not to like travel a lot, but yeah, next year that will be cool. So
Nice.
you can do something and maybe meet up or something. Florida would probably be better because I hear it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's actually really nice out here. It's like
that's what I've heard. So
it's like 60 degrees, 70 at nighttime.
yeah, it's in a way it's kind of like LA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like that would be cool. So we can plan something. Seriously. So.
yeah, definitely. I don't want to keep you too long, man. I don't want to keep your wife. I have a wife too, so I know how they get.
She's hungry now. So, any more questions?
Yeah, sure. Better Sosa.
Yes.
Eric Sosa or Sammy Sosa? Which one? Which one do you have?
Sammy Sosa. He's cool.
Oh my God! Come on. I was going with the Eric. Okay, you disappoint me, man. Okay, look how he tried to look like you, man. Trying to lighten his skin like you, man. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Okay, but
I like your
I
shirt.
know.
Cool shirt.
Jay Remy in the comments section wants to know. He asked it like 3 times. Goku versus Superman. He wants you to pick.
Choose wisely.
Well, it depends. If it's just normal Goku, even if he's like Super Saiyan 3 or whatever, 4 or whatever, I don't think he can actually compete with Superman. I don't think so. And I love Goku just as much as I like Superman. However, Goku Migate no Gokui or Ultra Instinct Goku, yeah, he probably put the hurt on Superman really badly. So I don't know.
So I guess that's the super duper Goku.
I think that would be like a tie. I think because Superman can do like pre-crisis. Superman could have like destroyed Goku. Really, I mean, he can move planets. So and Goku can destroy planets if he wants, but I don't think by just sheer force he can move a planet. I don't think so. Even with Ultra Instinct, I don't think so. He can use his chi to actually destroy the whole universe if he wants, but Superman can actually do it physically. So I think in that sense, yeah, Superman has an edge. When it comes to like sheer psychic powers, yeah, Goku could destroy Superman, I think, in that sense. So I don't know. I think it's a tie, to be honest.
Ooh, a tie.
Yeah, I think.
Sounds like Superman to me, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Sounds like Superman to me, but a little bit of Goku bias at the end, so you gave it a tie. But it's okay, man. I'll let that one go. All
right.
Suited for Gaming wants to know ZBrush or Blender.
Oh, ZBrush, definitely. That's what most people in the industry use. Most people in the film industry and video game industry use. So yeah, I would definitely do that, to be honest.
ZBrush, okay.
Yeah. No.
So since when you do statues, besides sculpting, what about animation? How much? How much skill do you have to have in doing, poses, I guess?
Well, I think in terms of animation, it's just a matter of, there's this really good book that I recommend called Forced Perspective, or Forced Drawing, actually. Forced Drawing, and it was actually written by a Disney animator. That's one of my secrets when it comes to like sculpting poses. I've actually used that book a lot, like my Bible, in order to know how to create flow. Like a lot of people say, like, oh, I like how the flow of your pieces, even when they're just standing there, they look dynamic. So it's understanding like shapes, like curves, semi-curves, and straight lines, and mixing them and matching them. But yeah, I believe like in order to be a really good animator, you have to have really good drawing skills and know the human skeleton really well and how it moves, how it behaves, everything. But yeah, learning 3D is like a good thing. It's a great plus, because now everything is done in terms of like animated films. 99.99% of films are done. Animated films are done in 3D. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw something, Eric. I was just watching some old clips of sculptors, sculpting, and they were using certain tools which I know nothing about. And I don't mean tools as far as sculpting, but I mean tools as far as holding the piece together while they, mold it on, like the framework.
Oh, you're talking about the armature. Yeah.
And okay,
You get like
is
a
there
like a wooden base, and then you have like this like armature wire that basically takes the shape of the figure, and basically you just add the slap on the clay on top of that. It's
right?
basically like the skeleton structure, basically. That's what it is.
Right. That too. Yeah. No, I'm talking about an actual tool just to hold things together, more like in a vice, I would say. But there is their own version of it. I mean, I couldn't describe it, but what I do know, I know what you're talking about, but it's
Yeah.
not that. It's not that. It's another piece to it. So
Isn't
I don't know.
like a little elbow thing, like a little L, inverted L.
It's
I don't know.
crazy. I've seen so many different variations of it. So I was gonna say like, so what I'm asking is, have you created your own tools? I think everybody has their own ways of getting things done as far as the scope. And it's like, oh, okay, I figured this out. Maybe if I hold this here, and it becomes their own tool, and that's how they do it. And I don't mean just
I'm
the.
actually
Go ahead.
both in digital and traditional. Like I have I don't know if I have something here, but yeah, I have my own set of tools that I use, and like this is my main tool. This was my main tool when I was doing traditional stuff. That's it. It looks like nothing, but you can do a lot of stuff. You can sculpt eyes, you can do like textures, you can do a lot of stuff. And then there's stuff like this, but I really don't use, but I still like have them just in case. But yeah, you can come up with like I made my own tool, but yeah, you can make your own stuff. And when it comes to digital, you can also make your own type of brushes and tweak them. For example, I have a brush that actually creates basically the texture of a muscle without skin, and that's pretty simple. I just like tweaked it and added like certain elements, and that's it. And it helps a lot. It's super helpful. So I think every artist like finds a way to kind of not to cheat, but a way to actually accommodate how they want to come up basically get stuff done in a way that's more comfortable to them, and that's where tools come in. Because yeah, you can. There's hundreds of ways to actually sculpt, say, a hand, but if you have the proper tools that work for you, you can sculpt that a lot faster or with a lot more ease. Versus like if you were just using your fingers, for example, So you can probably sculpt a hand that's just as good with just your fingers, but it's probably going to take you a lot more time. So you have to adapt. Basically, it's a way of adapting according to your own skills. I think your own skill set. So that's what tools do. There's just like a way to bridge what's happening here and just basically focus it on the actual piece of art. I don't know. Get things done.
And so, do you share ideas? See, maybe I'm thinking later in the process. As far as these tools goes, I know you're showing sculpting tools, but the tools I'm talking about is just to hold it in place. I guess I don't know what the process is as far as I think nearing the end stages of the like when they're trying to piece the statues together, stuff like that, because you want to hold it in a certain spot.
It's the armature. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, because I can't show you, but that turtle back there has like the armature. It's like a big old tube, and then that holds the whole thing, the whole structure. So I can move the piece and everything, and it won't collapse or anything.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's part of the armature. It's just an extended armature. So basically, you have the skeleton structure of the character, or like the bones, basically, and then those bones are basically connected to another separate structure that grounds it to your base. So that way, things don't wiggle around, and you know what I'm saying. That's it.
Sir.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, it's simple. I'm not really good at doing those, but I know enough to get by. So yeah.
Do you dabble in any painting at all?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I have a piece here. Hold on, let me see. I might have one. Where's that creature? Oh, yes. Over here. Anyway. Nope. Oh, no. Yeah, I have this creature that I painted. It's the sculpt's actually not mine. It's actually a friend's, and I painted it. I took a class with him. But yeah, I do paint, and I have painted plenty of things in the past. Like I used to paint some of the Kotobukiya things, but I can't find it. But I did paint some of the Kotobukiya stuff whenever I couldn't find a painter or something. So yeah, it kind of comes with the territory. You need to like be aware of how to do like a little bit of everything. Otherwise, if you can't find the right person at the right moment and you have a looming deadline, that could prove catastrophic, to be honest, for the deadline. And thus you could lose the gig. Like as sculptors, like a lot, this is something that maybe we don't talk a lot about. It's like we're always walking this racer's edge, like as we're taking on a new project, because sometimes you might be working on 3 other projects and then you have this new one, and that's why I actually like hire other people to help me do accessories, because otherwise if I'm focusing on doing like say boots when I should be focusing on the overall structure of a new character, you know, those boots could be done by someone else while you delegate that, but you're also focusing on achieving the overall design for this new project, and that probably in itself takes more time. So it's always better to delegate. But yeah, we're always walking the racer's edge in terms of like time, and that's one of the reasons why I actually kind of stopped doing collectible stuff, because with toys is the same thing, but toys are a lot easier to make in a sense, because it's a lot easier for me to do this little guy right here, or Mattel, for example, versus doing this guy for, say, I don't know, like, you know, Kotobukiya. So in a sense, I kind of got tired of like working so much, overworking myself. So
What's your preferred paint, or brand of paint?
I can't remember. I use acrylic paints, but there's these things called something inks. I can't remember what they're called, and they work with an airbrush. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, they're called FW inks. That's what I use, or I've used in the past.
Okay, cool. And a lot of guys are in the chat are asking for DVDs. They want to learn how to sculpt.
All right, that would be cool. That's something we can cover maybe next time. We can talk about it, and I can probably go about doing something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. If you need to go, man, feel free. I'm probably gonna end the chat, and I would love you to plug whatever you want to plug right now, and your website and everything else.
I have to ask you guys if you guys could do this. Can I send you a link?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, I can't. Let me see if I can find it, because I've had it here for a while. Let's see. I'll send you a link in the chat. If anyone wants to like go check it out, they can go vote there. I sent you that link, and I did this trunks for Bam Presto, and it's basically like a contest. And I was in first place last night, but I think now I'm in second or third place.
Awesome. So I'm sharing this now.
Anyone wants to like vote for anything they like, go ahead. If you like mine, please vote. That'd be cool. And thank you.
Nice. I'll put it in the comment section. It's showing up right now. So
sure. Thanks, man.
Cool. Nice.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
I'm gonna go get some tacos now. Oh yeah, seriously.
Nice. Well, thank you, Eric, for coming on, man. I think overall everyone is. I think everyone's really excited about your previous work and what you're doing now and what you're going to be doing in the future. And like I said, we would all love to have you on to shoot the shit, or even to teach, show people some of your skills and stuff.
That would be super cool, man. I really appreciate you guys like inviting me. I had this little situation, like you might you guys might be aware or not, but a couple of weeks back or something with another group, and it got pretty nasty. And honestly, I don't thrive in negativity, and I rather just move on. And you know, if I find something negative, I just walk around it and move on. Sometimes like people don't leave you alone; they keep coming after you. But in that sense, I really don't care. And I just want to tell you that I really got a really good vibe from like being here with you guys, and I thank you for that. Really, I really needed it. I needed that break. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Like I said, a lot of us, Chris Crespo really wanted to be here tonight. I kept sending him links, but he couldn't get on. I think he's a really super. Yeah, I think he's a super fan.
Yeah, this is really fun. Yeah, we can do it next time around. I'd be more than happy to do it. To be
awesome.
Honest. Have him like, you know, so we can chat and whatever.
Cool, man. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close the chat out. Peace.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Thank you. Take care, brother.